Hello, first graders. Welcome to a new English lesson. Today we are in Unit 2, Week 2. Before we start, let's just revise a little bit what we covered last week. We talked about the big ideas for this unit. It's our community. In the last lesson, we were talking about jobs need to be done in a community. We talked about jobs such as firefighters and bus driver, traffic guide. We talked about police officers, teachers, coaches, all other grocery stores. These people that they do for their community, their jobs is important. They do either serving or selling or helping us to enjoy our life in our community and offer us service and help. Today we'll be talking about what buildings do you know? So if you're our town and this is the buildings you see, we'll be learning about type of building, different kind of buildings, and what do you think used materials are used to build these buildings. Some of them are in a city, some of them in a big city or a small town, and also some are in a countryside. All right. So the essential question for today, what buildings do you know and what are they made of? So let's see some of the buildings we're gonna cover today. All right.
Have you ever seen a house with a thatched roof of straw bundles like this one?
Okay. Let's go for the next one. Let's listen to this one more time.
Have you ever seen a house with a thatched roof of straw bundles like this one?
As you see this one, this is the type of buildings. Next one.
This Cape Cod style home is common in the United States today.
So this is Cape Cod, usually in the east.
A stone house with a grass roof absorbs rain. It keeps the people inside warm in winter and cool in summer.
This is another type of buildings. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this and we see around.
Buildings with many separate apartments are homes for a large number of people.
Very good. And back again to our houses and buildings. So these were some houses that we can see either in a city or probably in a countryside. Okay, let's listen to our vocabularies. All right.
Shelter. When it started to rain, we ran into the shelter to stay warm and dry.
Okay, next.
Materials. Wood, glue, nails, and paint are materials you will need to make a birdhouse.
Okay, next.
Collapsed. The tent collapsed and fell on us. Furious. Billy was furious that he couldn't go out and play.
Next word.
Refused. My dog refused to go outside in the rain. He hates to get wet.
Could. They could build a house with logs.
This is different type of buildings.
Live. Do you live in a tall building?
And this is also another kind of building.
One. This hut has one room. Then. We open the door and then we go out. 3. 3 people can fit in a tent.
And then again, the shelter.
Shelter. When it started to rain, we ran into the shelter to stay warm and dry.
Very good. All right. So as we see for today, essential question was, what buildings do you know and what they're made of? So we saw different buildings, and you can see this is in a town. I can see different kind of buildings come in different colors and also different size. But we also learn, and as you see, this one may be made out of the materials they use. They use some woods for the roof, and then they use glass, and of course cement, sands, concrete. But we saw also different houses and use different materials, such as they use mud, they use sand, and they use rocks to do their buildings. And each building have materials, different materials. It depends where you find this huts or the house. Also, we learned some of them are really tall, like skyscrapers, like in the back of this pictures, that they have maybe 20 floors or more people living. And of course, this is you see in the big cities. And then we saw also other types of house that they only have like one room, like the hut has only one room. And we saw also different type of buildings, like the Cape Cod style. And sometimes like one single story, like one level, sometimes two like houses, and sometimes multiple, like lots of buildings, lots of floors, and more people living in this kind of houses. All right, so this is the essential question and the weekly concept. We're still talking about communities, and now we talked about what kind of job you find in town, around towns, that help the community to be well developed. Today we learned and we talked about our town and different type of buildings and materials. We're gonna have more stories talking about this and thinking why some materials are better than others and why we use certain materials when you build your house and we cannot use others for another reason. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you, first graders. Bye-bye.